We're fast approaching September and there are still a number of trades that could still happen. This includes a blockbuster potential move involving Kevin Durant and Jaylen Brown, which would genuinely shake the foundations of the NBA. We'll take a closer look at the details of this rumored deal and just how realistic the rumor might be. Let's get started.
But first, a reminder about our brand new giveaway. We're giving away a PS5 with a copy of NBA 2K22 and Madden 22. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
Starting with the blockbuster rumor. Everyone knows that Kevin Durant wants to leave the Brooklyn Nets this offseason, and the relationship between the two parties has only gotten worse as of late. A few weeks ago, things took a dramatic turn when the Boston Celtics reportedly offered Jaylen Brown and a package in exchange for KD. And since then, the rumors about Brown being unsettled have been wreaking havoc in the mill. Of course, at this point, we can only speculate as to what would happen and what wouldn't. But every now and then, someone suggests a possibility and people are simply too fast as they turn it into a rumor. The same is the case with the latest rumor, which seems to suggest that the Boston Celtics will end up signing Kevin Durant, but the Nets won't get Brown in return, and he'll end up being traded to a third team, Miami Heat. Is it getting too much for you? Well, imagine working with the Celtics and imagine being the person who suggested a possible trade for someone like Brown. You've not only managed to screw up a potential relationship with a superstar, but also things haven't progressed in the KD deal, and now Brown's being linked with the move to the Heat. But we'll still try to make sense of this rumor and see if it could end up happening or not. Next, the details of the rumor. First of all, hats off to you, Adam Borai of the Bleacher Report. You've single-handedly managed to worry fans of 3 franchises, although we'd argue that the Heat fans would be made up with the possibility of landing Brown. But what is Borai suggesting, and why is the rumor catching fire? Why would the Nets be happy to let KD go and also not get Brown in return and let him go to the Heat? How would that deal work, and what exactly is Joe Tsai and his beloved front office holding out for? So, as per the rumor, KD obviously wants to be traded away from the Celtics, and he's labeled the Celtics as one of the desirable landing spots. The Nets were offered Jaylen Brown in return, but Borai believes that the Nets would prefer getting a number of draft picks instead of landing someone like Brown, who could end up leaving the Nets fairly early, considering his contract ends quite soon. This is the biggest reason why the Nets would be holding out for picks from the Celtics and the Heat in exchange for their superstar KD. It feels at this point in time that the Nets want to plan a proper rebuild. That wouldn't be possible in the remaining season, so could they end up postponing the season? But they'll have a number of fantastic picks that they could still trade for short-term options too. But for now, everyone would feel that the Heat would be clear winners from the trade, and the losers would probably be the Nets. Plus, the Heat love Jaylen. This is an important factor to consider because the Miami Heat remain very keen on Brown. They've been longtime admirers of the 25-year-old, and their interest in him has only grown in the recent few years after his stock has been on constant rise. So it feels more and more likely that the Heat are planning on entering the trade deal between the Nets and the Celtics and could end up making it better for all the parties involved. There's no doubt that Brown's the best possible player the Nets could realistically get for KD, but for someone who'll be entering the free agency in 2 years' time, it is really worth going all out. At the same time, the people involved know that the Nets don't have the facilities to keep their star players happy, and considering how poor Steve Nash's coaching has been and the criticism he's received, it would hardly be a surprise if Brown ends up wanting to leave the Nets in the free agency. So, they need to think ahead, and it might be their smartest bet to get the Heat involved. For the Heat, it's an entirely different equation because Brown would definitely love to move to another team challenging for the championship. Unlike the Nets, they've got a better coach and a front office that's used to dealing with superstars and keeping them happy, so they'd fancy their chances of convincing Brown to extend his stay in Miami. Where does that leave the Celtics? We don't want to sound like things can't be salvaged, but the minute you let some doubt seep in, circumstances become quite complex, and that's been the case with Boston. It's obvious they really want Kevin Durant, but they could have been better in their approach of including Brown in the deal. They knew it was risky, and then they decided it was worth the risk. It backfired, and now the Celtics are in a tough spot. They've got a superstar in Brown who has definitely lost his faith in the front office and does not feel that he'll be staying with the Celtics for a long time. In fact, if he ends up staying this offseason, the rumors for Brown's move over the next 2 years would be unbearable for Boston to stay. So it's probably better if they can find a way of moving him on and getting the best possible player in, as you can't possibly get anyone better than KD. He guarantees short-term success, and with the team that good defensively, it could be the perfect marriage of convenience. KD wins them their elusive championship and gets the ring that he's been after for so long. Yeah, he probably wouldn't get the respect he deserves if he wins a ring in Boston, but it's not about respect, and if it was, he wouldn't be pushing for this move. But with all said and done, the Celtics are risking the future of their franchise, and losing a budding star like Brown could be highly damaging in the long run. In other news, first up, Vucevic to Miami. An NBA executive has floated the idea of a possible swap deal involving Miami Heat's Duncan Robinson and Chicago Bulls big man Nikola Vucevic. Few teams in the league have a better squad of sharpshooters than the Heat, but they still remain lacking in some major areas all over the court that need addressing. Vucevic, as per an NBA executive, could be the answer for Miami if they're willing to part ways with Robinson, and it could become a possibility because the Bulls could certainly do with someone like Robinson. They've held interest in Duncan for a while, so it makes a lot of sense for them to consider it, but the Heat would need to be convincing. As for Vucevic, now that would be some addition for the Heat. Imagine if the offseason ends and the Heat have a roster containing the likes of Jaylen Brown and Vucevic. They might just end up winning the championship. On to the Celtics, looking to add wing and a big. There are few teams that have a better depth chart than the Boston Celtics, and they remain interested in adding a couple of more players to complete their roster ahead of the 2022 season. Insider reports suggest that the C's are in the market for at least one more wing and a big man, as they could compete with Noah Vonleh and Kabengele for center depth. They could go for the likes of Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, or even Dwight Howard from free agency to solve their big man needs. And if they can get in KD, that would pretty much solve all sorts of issues for them, at least in the short term. But whether or not they bring in KD, the Celtics should be all over Dwight Howard and Carmelo Anthony to fill their last two spots and complete the roster. Lastly, the Nets not interested in the Lakers' offer. The latest rumors surrounding the Lakers seem to suggest that their chances of landing their prime target for the offseason, Kyrie Irving, are getting thinner and thinner. In fact, as various reports, Brooklyn are steadfastly rejecting the Lakers' offer of additional picks along with Russell Westbrook for their star man Irving. Things might not seem too awful for the Lakers after they managed to officially confirm the signing of LeBron James on a 2-year contract worth nearly $100 million in a deal that will keep the King with the Lakers until he turns 40. But the fact is, they need to sign a player like Kyrie to give themselves a chance to challenge for the championship, because as it stands, they've got an underwhelming contract and a lot of negativity surrounding the roster. That's a wrap for this video. Who do you think would be the winner from this trade? Miami with Brown or the Celtics with KD? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.